All right. So animals have auric fields, right? So she has a field around her. So I don't want to be inside her field before I start. And I'm also going to ask her, if she wants me to do this. Actually, Foxy, would you like to be the demo for the class? So she said, this is what I heard. What do you think I'm sitting here for? That's what I heard. So I took that as a yes. All right, so I'm gonna start beaming through my hands and just have a sense of where her energy field ends. And I actually feel it's getting bigger. And again, I'm not pushing on her. You don't want to push. I'm also going to use my eyes. Remember, I told you can send it through your eyes. And that's a softness, right? So a softness in your eyes. So what's happening is the Reiki fills up her auric field. You can imagine it like that. So it's infusing into her field. And again, you can add a color if you want. You can add a texture like mist or like, air, twinkles. I wouldn't get too complicated. You always make it simple, okay? And don't think too hard. Don't be, if you're working too hard, you're working too hard. You don't have to work hard on this at all. Animals are super sensitive. She's aware of me here. She's probably feeling the energy. I'm also watching her to see if she takes a deep breath, and I'm noticing her breathing. And I also pay attention to her ears, and I get that she's completely listening to me. Okay, so now I'm gonna move around her. I don't want to alarm her. Yeah. Okay, that's nice. So she laid down, so that's good. And, if I'm towering over her, that's really kind of like putting pressure on her, right? So I might even lay down. If I lay down, that's kind of maybe less pressure on the animal too than you towering over them. So you want to make sure that you're comfortable so that you can get on the ground and get on the floor. So now I feel like she's a little more relaxed. I'm going to come in a little closer. And I'm just going to, so this is intuitive. I'm just going to put one hand on her sacrum really gently. And the other on her. Okay. So, other on her crown. You see her stretch? Okay, so I'm barely touching her. It's a very light touch. I'm also using, remember I said that there's chakras on the points of your fingers? I'm using that. So I'm sending it through the points of my fingers instead of the palm, where I'm on her crown chakra. So the dog's chakras is similar to ours, where they're placed. They go along the spine. So I'm on her crown chakra and her root chakra, like what the base of her tail where it meets her body. And this is great because I can send Reiki like as a circuit, right? Which is going through her spine to her nervous system, her vertebrae. And at the same time, so I'm going to just like drop in and start listening. So I'm not here. All I'm sensing is how happy she is to live here. That's why, like how she can, she has a lot of freedom here. and how well, did you see that? She twitched. So I am doing a little like slight manipulation, not much, just on my hand off the head. But remember when I told you when you hold your hands together and you might get that movement? It's kind of like that, what I'm feeling on her head. She does have issues with her eyes. She's partially blind. Yeah, so I'm watching, you know, if she spasms out, I notice that. Or if she takes a deep breath, sigh. But she feels really relaxed right now. This dog is super hyper. Very hyper dog. She's a collie mix, I think. Okay, so I'm going to do another hold. And also, this is kind of intuitive, but it's like a sandwich. I'm just going to go there. Hey, is that okay? So I've got one hand on her heart and another hand on the back of her heart. And I could tell you things about this dog, but I'm not gonna, because I don't want to get in the past and talk about things in the past and stories. I want to stay present with her so that I can listen. So, you know, it's really hard to listen when you're talking, right? And I'm not just talking about me right now, but when you're working on an animal, if you're busy in your head thinking about stories of the dog or that time when that happened, then you can't listen, because you can't listen and think of things at the same time. So that's why like meditation helps, so that you can practice becoming blank, so that you can receive impressions, or you know, like I talked about, voices or visions, feelings in your body. I'm going to go down to the solar plexus. So that she rolled. See that? So this is a very willing dog right now. So everything is saying that she's willing and receptive of what I'm doing right now. And again, you know, I'm really not doing a lot. Okay, I'm just sending Reiki. And I can feel like gurgling in her belly. Again, I'm not pushing or pressing. I'm just sensing. And I'm aware of a swarm of bees outside. Buzzing just went by. Okay, so now I'm gonna unslide my hand from underneath. I don't want to disturb her. Okay, so your touch is gradual. When you go in, it's gradual. You ease in. When you come off, you ease out. All right, you don't just pull your hand suddenly off or suddenly put your hand on. It's really jarring to the nervous system. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to position myself, and I'm going to slide my hand down her spine. And now I've got her like sacrum in my bottom hand, and I'm sandwiching her basically. So this is like her root chakra, second chakra, kind of in between. I'd say more like her root chakra. And, you know, she's lifted off the ground, but she's fine. She's totally not resisting me. All right. So I want to relax my hands a bit more because I feel a little tension in them. And I also want to relax my neck because I feel My neck is stressing out because I'm looking at you guys. So, and I'm just gonna tune in here. Okay, so it's feeling good. And now I'm gonna slide my hand out. Good. One thing I forgot to do was put the symbols on my hand, right? I'm gonna do it now. It's kind of late, but I'm just doing the chakra, the Saya keys. I don't need to do the other one because she's right here. But I almost feel like that's enough. So basically what I did was I did the here and here, right? And I ran it through the spine. That's a really good one. And then I went from here to here to here to here, like with the holds like that. I do want to do one in her throat, right? So actually I'm going to just like cradle her head and soften my fingers and just give her a little here. So I am not leaning on her, right? I'm kind of leaning on my knee. So if your dog has something specifically wrong with them, you can focus on that area. So if they had a sore leg or a wound somewhere, you could focus on that. And you could also be close and be off the body. Like say like it was a wound and it was really sensitive. Like if they had stitches, you could just come off and hover over it. And then have your hands the opposite side of that. So I'm just gonna, I am gonna do her eyes because I mentioned that she has this eyes issue. So that's a little, okay. So I don't want to wrench her neck or anything. She's been so good, and she's very receptive. And this is like the second time I did it. I did it last night there and now. So you also got to listen when they say it's enough. Like she pushed me a little bit, but I didn't come off. But if she did that again, I would come off. Because she could just be readjusting her movement. Okay. I feel like she's had enough there. All right. Yeah, you're a good girl, huh? Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna seal the session with the chakra. And I'm gonna thank the Reiki and the guides and close the session.